as we navigate life's course and try to find ourselves in a happy, successful, peaceful place, I want to give an analogy today, and I'll be giving one later today too, on a visualization that you can use when you struggle, when things are going hard, and you can use this as a way to say, okay, what do I need to do right now? Who am I? That question that I often ask and is very, very important. Who am I? And what it is imagine yourself as the sky. You're the sky, and it's infinite. It goes on and on and on. There's really no beginning or ending to the sky. It just is there. It's beautiful. It's clear. It's pristine. It's happy. It's peaceful. That's who you are. That's in the essence of who you are, who you've always been, and who you will always be. You're the beautiful, infinite sky. But what happens is clouds come by. And clouds are, difficulties that happen in our life, struggles that come by. Sometimes they're big struggles, so it's a big, dark cloud. Perhaps you're going through a divorce right now. Sometimes they're just little rain clouds. Perhaps you've got a talking to at work because you got in late, or you had a fight with your significant other. But clouds come through our life, and what happens with a lot of people is instead of watching the clouds, realizing I'm the sky, this is just a cloud, it's going to pass, they jump into the cloud. They actually think they're the cloud, and they get all caught up in the cloud, in the dark cloud. And when you jump into a cloud, the cloud stays. It doesn't move on. The wind doesn't blow it away because you've now identified yourself with a cloud instead of identifying yourself with the beautiful sky. Those struggles that you're going through last and last and last. I'm sure you know, as I have met many people who had a dark experience happen to them maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, and they're still there. They're still 100% stuck on that dark experience because they have identified themselves with that experience, forgetting that they are actually the beautiful sky. So what can happen is, this is going to be a really great thing to remember when dark times happen. Remember that you are, have been, and always will be the sky. So when something difficult is happening, witness that, that word I love, witness the cloud, but realize you're not that. And by not identifying with that event that's happening, saying, I'm not this is just an event, life is impermanent, this too shall pass, what you'll find is you will move through that difficult time much more quickly. And it will basically get blown away, and you'll find yourself going back to being the sky. So when you go through difficulties, maybe you've lost a job right now, if you remember, I'm not that job. I'm not this divorce. I'm not this depression. If you're not those things, if you don't identify with them, they pass, and you go back to being that happy, blissful, peaceful person that you've always been and always will be. But what's keeping you from that is you, through your mind, have identified yourself with your struggles. You are not your struggles. Neither are the other people that you care for, or even the people that you hate. They are not that. They are still a beautiful person too. So I'm really big into losing that judgment of other people, but mostly of yourself. And if you lose that, you go back to that really peaceful, beautiful place of being the sky. So be the sky, identify with the sky, and when the clouds come, do not identify with them, watch them, and you'll see that they'll blow away, and you go back to being the sky. Peace.
Our first question this week comes to us from Mallory in Dublin, Ireland. I love the show, and it's great to see a positive message being brought out. I have just delivered a baby, but my husband is never around the house. He's either hanging out with his friends or working. I want him to have fun because he's still young, but I want him to be at home with me too. How do I let him know this?
Well, you're asking a question that a lot of women will have to face in their life. When the baby comes, life changes. And when it changes, you have to decide, okay, we need to change as a couple. But as a couple, being a team, you matter too. So I think you want to approach your husband not in a caustic way or say, you need to be home more, but more so in the sense of when you guys are in a good mood, maybe you've on a date, you have someone watching your child, and you're spending time together. Say, hey, honey, I really like it that you like to spend time with your friends, and I think it's good for me to have time alone too. I think it's good for us to date like this. So if you approach it that way, instead of saying you need to stop, you need to be home, I think you'll find him being more receptive. Parenting can be very overwhelming. There are so many changes when you begin to parent. But approaching him in a loving way, I think, is the first step. And then if he does start getting a little bit defensive, because he said, well, I work hard and I support this family, then you're going to say, oh, that's okay. Well, let's just think about it, because I know you love me, and I'm important to you, and I definitely love you. We have to make it sure that we both absolutely get time off, because time off is a beautiful part of being a parent. There's three parts of parenting. One is how you treat your child, which everyone gets. The second one is what you expose them to, TV, shows, what schools to go to. But the most important is modeling. And so you want to model, as your husband is, to take care of yourself and have a good time and enjoy your life, and not just be all about parenting or all about work. So he might have, if you see that way with that attitude, you might say, there are some things I can learn from him. Maybe I'm taking parenting too seriously, and maybe I need to get my family, or if you have a sister or brother or someone that can help you with your parenting, I really recommend that, or getting a babysitter to come in. And one thing that my wife and I do is we often, when it's busy, we take turns. I'll watch the kids for a while, and then she'll watch our children for a while, and that way we both get a break. I think presenting that to your husband and saying, it is good for us to have breaks. It's wonderful. And we both want them. So perhaps on Tuesday and Thursday, we can take those days for us, and I'll take Tuesday and you'll take Thursday. But it's really approaching it in a loving way and saying this is good for us, but we want to both be parents. We're both parenting, not just him, but we both want breaks, not just him. But if he does challenge that, if he really is what appears to be very selfish, and it's all about him, then you need to really bring someone else in to help you, like a counselor, or go to someone and say, can you help us navigate this? Because that will be very bad for your marriage if it doesn't change. I know you love him, but if it's 100% about what he wants and nothing about what you want, I can guarantee resentment will build inside of you, and your marriage will just deteriorate, go downhill, get worse and worse. So, work on the marriage, and I'm sure Elizabeth has some great ideas too.
I think what Dr. Pelf was saying is actually very important. And we talk so much about awareness on the show, and I think that by going to a third party who's objective, avoid going to a family member because they're not really objective. If you can go to a therapist or a counselor of some sort, if you're religious, sometimes going to a priest, depending on where you're at, and, just somebody who's not involved in the situation that can help you kind of see through this. But I think part of it is, what did your husband see growing up in his house? He may have been conditioned to be that way. Maybe in his house, his dad was always out working, and he felt, well, I work all day, so I should be able to go out and have fun with my friends as well. Which, yes, but there are responsibilities as a husband and as a father, which is very important for your child. And I want to say this to you, okay? I know that your baby is very young, but think about this. What do you want your child to be like when they grow up, or what do you want for their future? If your child is a daughter, you have a daughter or a son, you're modeling for them. So either they could end up in a relationship like that where, they're with somebody and unhappy because that person's out all the time because that seems normal to them, or they could be the other person not making time for the relationship. And where's the happiness in that? You and your husband, I'm sure you want to have a happy, connected life with each other. And that's so important, making time for each other, having a date night for, sometimes we don't like to call it date, but it's a night for the two of you, or a day for the two of you to spend time together one-on-one, and you need that also for the family time as well. So we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for your question, all the way from Ireland. Thank you very much, and we hope that you get the help that you and your family need.
And as I stated from the beginning, you love your husband, and I'm sure he loves you. Focus on the love, use positive, and you'll find some beautiful change that can come from that. Peace.